Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's tutorial, I will be showing you guys how to create a simple social media flyer. Now I'm on my journey to not 1K, sorry, to being monetized for this year. I've been so inconsistent that has caused me to not become monetized. I haven't been posting as consistent as I should, and this is a year that I really do my thing. It's time for me to be monetized. I've been on YouTube way too long to not be monetized. So let's jump into designing. No, I don't know what I'm going to design. This is a bit spontaneous. I just took up the my laptop, my microphone, and said, okay, I'm going to do a YouTube tutorial. So this is totally 100% freestyling. So let's see what we can get done. So let's see. So the size that I'm going to choose is 1080 by 1350 pixels. Now, that's equivalent to the Instagram portrait. So that's the one that I'm going for. That's my go-to design. Sean, I love a good portrait size layout. I do squares now and then, but it's not my favorite thing to do. Okay. So let's start off with let's see what we can do. So we could probably do a little booking flyer. So let's see how that goes. So let me pin on my mic. Hope you guys are hearing me clearly. Cool. So I'm going to start off with a gradient background because I just think that you can't go really wrong with a gradient background. Ooh, I think I'm feeling pink. So let's change this to pink. I don't think you can ever go wrong with pink, and I'm also going to change this to a softer shade of pink so I can get a nice gradient background. So I think we can work with this for now. Can work with this for now. If there are any adjustments needed, I'll um I'll go back in and make some changes. So I'm going to give this business a name like the Ego Beauty Experience. I mean, that sounds good. I would want that experience because are you telling me that? Okay, I think I want to put the ego in a scripted font. Let's see. Excuse me. So let's see what the ego looks like in script. I think I have. Let me see. I want it to be like a stylish, dainty script. I don't want it to be those bubbly script because this is giving much um elegant. So let's see. ISOM. Let's see. Okay, this is not bad. Okay, I think we could put let me change this to the gradient. Ego Beauty Experience. Can put that there. Bring this down a little. Bring this up a little. Put it to back because I want to add like the text on top of this. Let me see which font we can use. Definitely want to stick to a sans serif typeface. So let me see what we're working with this. And we can change this to white so it stands out better on the background, giving us that contrast that we want. And also, I think we can put like an outline around this, probably white. Let's see what we're working with. Let me reduce it a little bit. I think we can work with that, right? I think we can work with that. And I'm just going to group everything, put it to the top like this, and center it. Okay. I'm thinking that we could put a border. Right, so I'm going to show you a trick or a hack in Canva. So I want this to be a bit bolder, but as you can see, it doesn't have the has the bold style available. So what you can do is select it and go to effects and select outline, and you're going to change the outline color to the same color as the text, which is the white. And what you're going to do, you're going to reduce it the thickness a little bit because you don't want to be too chunky where it just looks a bit crowded. You're going to reduce that a little bit. And I don't think the color is in white fully. So let me put that in white. Okay. And you can also reduce the spacing a little bit. So normally when you are like doing smaller text, you always want to at least increase the sizing, the spacing between the letters a little bit so it's readable. So let me see what we're working with. And I think we could, let me go for search for gold. I think we could add a gold outline around this just to give it some oomph. Okay, so let me see which one of these go. Okay, let's go with this. This one is a free one. And that's my baby cousin, by the way. And let me reduce this. And I'm going to align it to be behind this like a border, something like that. Okay, hold on. Let me pull this down. And let's work our magic. Oh, let me see how it look if that was let me see how it would look if the roles were reversed and this is the border instead of the pink. Let me see what we're working with. So I'm going to send this to back and I'm going to reduce the corners a little bit like so. And I'm going to ensure that the gold is centered. I want this to be centered. So I'm going to just use the arrow key and put it up a little bit. Let me see what we're working with. I don't know. I like both. But let's work with this for now. If anything, we can go in and change that. I want to ensure that everything is centered. So when we group them, everything is centered. So I'm just going to highlight all and group. Okay, so we have that going on for us. Now we're going to add some stuff. Going to add some stuff. Guys, after recording the video, why did I realize that my microphone died? Guys, I I'm livid. I'm livid. Like, oh my god. So now I'm going to have to do a voice over for the rest of the video. So this is me just searching for an image to add to the design. I'm going to select first I wanted to do like maternal maternal Mother's Day sale flyer, like something along that line. But then I changed my mind. But this is me just searching for some stock photos that I had created in my journey, but I couldn't find them. So I came across one of this background right here, this salon interior. So I decided to use it as a part of the background. So I extended it to cover the entire design page, send it to back, ensure that it was positioned in the center and in the middle, and then I turn the transparency down a little bit, well, a lot, because I don't want it to be too busy and overcrowd the other design elements. And this is me just ensuring that everything is okay, aligned properly, positioned properly before I continue the next step, which is to add image to the design. So I came across one of these models. Well, I did not came across because I actually created them in Midjourney. But while I was searching for an image to use, I came across this beautiful, beautiful model that I created in Midjourney. And I'm so sorry if you're hearing any background noise. I do apologize for that. So I decided to use this image because come on, the pink and her skin, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. This ebony goddess, this chocolate goddess, she's beautiful. Like, I'm so proud of this. And guys, this I created this in mid journey. So this is me just playing around with the positioning of the image, seeing how or where on the design to place the image. So yeah, that's just me playing around, playing around, playing around until I decide where I actually want the image to be positioned. So I'm going to add an outline effect, and I'm with and first I wanted to do white. I wanted to do a glow effect, but as you can see, this is me just playing around to see what I really want to do in terms of color and the effect. If I want to stick with just a solid outline color, or I want to go with the glow effect. So I was trying to find a perfect color that complements the background but kind of similar in shade. So that is just me playing around with the size, the blurriness, the intensity, the angles, and all that. So again, this is me. Changed my mind, said I was going to do just the white, then I changed my mind and said I'm going to do just the blur outline, but that didn't work. So again, changing it to the pink to try and find a perfect color. This just feels so awkward in a voiceover because while I was recording, I was explaining what I was doing, but in the voiceover, it's like, okay, this is a bit drawn out. It's like, a suspense movie where the suspense is drawn all the way out. So what I did was I copied the color from the gradient background to get a perfect color match, and then I went in to add it to the outline to create the effect that I was going for. It was like a monochromatic effect, seeing that the pinks are of the same shade, just at different saturations or intensity levels. So once I was satisfied with that, I then proceeded with the design. So after I was through selecting the color that I saw fit, I added the fresco filter, and I just turned the intensity down just a little bit, but I would know that I wanted the image to kind of pop out a little bit more. So I chose the fresco effect, the fresco filter. And this is me just zooming in to ensure that everything is okay and in place. Now it's time to add some text to the design. Initially, I wanted to go with a simple May booking flyer, but I was not feeling it. I changed the font to this font on that I got from the font called Made Sayonara. It's one of my favorite fonts, but again, it I was not feeling it. One of the reasons why was the placement, because of how the image was already placed on the screen. So I just erased it and started over by realigning and repositioning the image. I then decided to add a transparent gradient effect. So I select square, and this is how you can manually create your own gradient. And I selected the colors that I want and reduce the transparency of one of the colors to create the gradient with the transparent gradient with only one shade, the shade that is already on the background. So I was trying around with the placement, and then I decided to put it at the bottom to give that kind of blended effect with the image. And I just duplicated this as many times as I wanted, or until I get that desired faded effect look that I was going for. So now that that is done, I just did a little zoom to ensure everything was looking okay. Now I'm going to search for blur. I want to give that like a halo kind of glow effect behind the model's head. So I selected the orange blur and I changed the color to what first I changed it to pink to match the color of the background and reduce the intensity just a little bit so I get like a really soft but bright color to give it that glow effect. But it wasn't really working. I wasn't really feeling it after I positioned it behind the model's head. So what I did, I decided that I was going to play around with the transparency a little, and then I decided to just change it to white to get that glow effect. So now I revisited the original idea of putting the May bookings or May books now available. But while I was playing around with it, I realized that I didn't want to use it. I had something better in mind. But I'm going to show you something that I did. I created a border. So I'm going to show you how I did that. All I did was got a square from elements and I resized it to how I want it on the design. Then I changed the color. Instead of a solid color, I selected the gradient background that we had from the beginning. Yes, you can now add gradient colors to your design shapes. So that's what I did. And then I selected the border icon and add a white border around the shape, the square shape that I did. And then I'm not going to show you the new idea that I got instead of the May bookings. I decided to go with book the experience instead of the May bookings appointment, seeing that the business name is Ego Beauty Experience. So that's like a fun little way of grabbing the attention of your audience and a good and smart call to action. So for the book, I put it in the font that the beauty experience is in, that the beauty experience is in, and for the experience I put it in the font that the ego is in. So this is me just aligning it and playing around with the placement to ensure everything looks good. So now I'm going to add an outline to that just to match the colors of the ego. So the text should be in black and the outline in white. So once that is done, I'm going to play around with the book the text to ensure the weight and everything is okay. But this is just me again because I'm doing a voiceover. It's not really in sync, but I'm just playing around with the placement of the experience to ensure that it is positioned properly. Now for the book, the I want it to be a bit bolder, so I'm going to go to effect, select outline, and change it to white and turn the thickness down just a little bit so it gives us that bold effect, because as I said earlier, we don't have that option with this text. And also I got this text from the font. I'm so sorry if I'm all over the place. So now this is me just playing around with how I want the text to be positioned, ensuring that everything is visible. Now I'm going to select a text or key on your keyboard, on my keyboard, and I'm going to type the name of the website, and the font that I'm going to do this in is, is Montserrat. And the reason why I selected this font specifically is that it's a bit similar with the book, the font. They're a bit wider, so that's a bit, so I like those similarities. So that's one of the reasons why I chose that font. And I'm going to change the text to black, and I'm also going to put it in bold. But what I realized was when it was in bold, it wasn't as visible because the stroke from the P with the in the experience, it was creating like a block. So what I did now was to put the experience behind the square shape that we have the website. So this is me just going into position and rearranging the layouts of the different design elements just to ensure the experience is behind the shape. I also wanted to add it some more depth, some more dimensions to the design. So I went to elements and searched for plastic texture. and I selected this one right here, and this is actually a pro element. However, you can scroll through to find a free one that you can use in your design if you decide to recreate something like this. And I'm just going to ensure that this plastic element is centered in the middle, and I'm going to position it behind the image because I'm not really a fan of how it looks when it is on top. And I'm just going to turn the transparency down a little bit so we don't lose that image, the salon image. And this is what we have now. When I put it in full screen, a portion of it is cut off, but that's fine. So we're going to create a second flyer from this because I actually got a different idea. So I just duplicated the design and deleted the image, and I added this salon chair that I created in my journey. Like while I was designing, this design literally came to my mind. So what I'm going to do is remove the background of the image, and because this is a salon chair, instead of having the book the experience, I'm now going to put save your seat. So I'm going to add like a little shadow to this chair just to give it that 3D effect. So I'm going to go to elements and I'm going to search for shadows, and I'm going to select one of those flat ones that looks like it belongs underneath a flat surface. So I'm just going to scroll until I find one that I like, and I like that one. So I selected it and I positioned it to back so it's behind the chair, and I'm just zooming in. Always use your zoom. Like your zoom is your best friend. It helps you to ensure that everything is in place. Don't be afraid to zoom in on that design. The bigger the view, the better. Okay? The bigger the view, the better. So that's just me placing the shadow, and then I'm just going to group the chair. So if I decide to move the chair, it and the shadow move together as one, as a collective, instead of having to move them individually. So I'm just deleting the text, the website, and the shape that I had in the previous design, and I'm just playing around with the placement of the chair before I add the supporting text. So now I'm going in with the previous font that we used for the beauty experience to type the savior. I want to put the seat in the scripted font. So I'm just going to play around with the savior first to ensure that everything is positioned properly. So again, I'm going in with the outline effect just to give us that bold and fuller look to this specific font. And I'm just going to put the chair up a little bit because it's interfering with what we got going on at the bottom. So while we're doing that, I'm going to duplicate the text and I'm going to put the seat, and I'm going to change the font to the scripted font just to add some contrast to the text and to the design. So I was just playing around with it, and this was what I got first. And I was like, ew, that does not look good at all. So then I said, okay, let me put them in one line, but play around with the sizing of the text. And I was like, okay, I think I want to change the color of the one of the colors to pink. And I decided to change the color of the C text to pink just to add some contrast and emphasis. Like, girl, come and save your seed. Like, don't make this beauty experience pass you by. Come and save your seed. Go on the website and save your seed. So this is me just playing around with the position of the text. Also, while I was doing that, I realized how the shadow from the chair kind of make it looks as if the chair is sitting on top of the letters. So I was like, oh, a new idea. I'm going to play around with that, have some fun with that. So I decided to reduce it here just a little bit so I could bring the text up, because I also want to add some supporting text beneath or below the text. So this is me ensuring that everything is positioned. Then I'm going to bring the chair down and put it to front so it seems as if it's sitting or it's positioned on top of the text. The shadow kind of give you that 3D effect, that lift, that dimension. So I was loving that. So this is me just playing around with the position, zooming in to ensure that okay, it looks right, it doesn't look crooked. or anything like that. And I was like, okay, let me see if I put the chair like expand it a little bit how it would look. And the effect was there, the idea was there, but it was not being executed properly. So I decided, okay, I'm going to add the last text, the last supporting text that I want to add, and then I'm going to play around with the positioning of the chair. So I copied the website and the border shape from the previous design and positioned it on the page. And I'm just zooming in. As I said, the bigger the zoom, the better the design, the better you're able to see what you're doing, especially when you're adding smaller design elements and text to your composition. Don't be afraid to utilize the zoom feature. Sometimes you think you can see the whole time, you're blind. You're blind. Okay. So just zoom in on the design. So again, this is me ensuring that everything is properly positioned and aligned. I also I didn't like how the chair was sitting, so I decided to reduce the size of Savior and put it in line with the S from the seat, and decided to put to expand the text a little bit so it's a bit visible, seeing that it's kind of small on the text. So a tip when you are doing fine text, kind of increase the letter spacing so your text is more readable. So this is me just playing around with the positioning of the different design elements, the text and the shape that we got. So as you can see, I adjusted the savior to ensure that it is aligned with the seat. And I'm just going to extend the letter some more so it fills in the border shape that we have created. And again, this is me putting it in full screen, zooming in, zooming out to ensure everything is okay. So then I decided to position the chair to the left, seeing that the seat is a bit taller than the rest of the text. So I decided to play around with the positioning of the chair because it looks a bit unbalanced when we're looking at it from this angle. So I decided that okay, I'm going to put the chair down a little bit and I'm going to see if I can get an image. So I'm going to use this image that I created in Mid Journey, and I'm going to remove the background. If you don't have Canva Pro, this is actually a Canva Pro feature. However, there is a free background remover in Canva called Background Eraser. I mentioned it in my previous video. However, if it does not work for you, all you have to do is go to remove.bg, search remove.bg in your web browser, and they can remove the images for free. So this is me just resizing the images and repositioning the images so there's some form of structure to the design, and I want the image behind the text so that it is visible and also readable, and I also want the image on top of the salon chair. So I'm just going to zoom in, zoom out, me, do my little fixes, resize the chair about a million times. I know, and I'm going to resize the image about a million times also. And excuse me, I'm going to add the fresco effect, the fresco filter on the image that I did with the first flyer. I'm not sure if you guys remember by now. I hope you guys are still watching. And I'm just going to increase the size of the chair just a little bit. And I also want the image to have the outline effect. And again, this is me zooming in, pay me no mind. So I'm going to go to edit photos and select shadow, and I'm going to select outline, and I'm going to set it to that pink, that soft pink that I had on the first image. Now, a big disclaimer: when you're watching tutorials on your phone versus on your computer, sometimes the coloring does vary. So on your phone, you might find that the colors might be a bit vibrant, more vibrant than on your desktop. So yeah, just a note when you're watching videos, especially when it comes on to graphic designs and colors. So these are the two flyers. I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And most importantly, don't forget to watch the videos because this is the year that I am going to be monetized on YouTube. Stay safe and stay blessed.